So, good day everyone. Our topic for today is all about creative nonfiction introduction to literary genres. Okay. First of all, what is literature? So, literature is a collection of written records, collection of books, and anything we see as long as it is a work of art related to language. So, when we say literature, this is more of a man's topic. A man's topic in a way that a poet can be able to express his or her emotions through writing, and with that creativity, we call literature as art. That is literature. So it is not just about depending on the written records or collection of books, as long as you can express yourself with the creativity or stylistics upon using the language we have, that is what we call literature. For example, you can see around you the words or the stickers or the posters that have quotes. Those are kinds of literature under stylistics. Okay? So, in literature, one part of it is, or rather understanding the conventions of traditional genres. Under this is the fiction. So fiction is any story made up by an author. This creation of the author's imagination. It is not based strictly on history or facts. The opposite of fiction is non-fiction, writing that deals with facts and through events. So fiction is more on imaginative stories. What do you mean when we say imaginative? So imaginative comes from only the imagination, doesn't exist. It is not realistic. Unlike non-fiction, so non-fiction is the opposite of fiction, that it is more of reality. It's like that. That is what we call non-fiction. So under fiction, we have literary fiction. So it is character driven. Any action in the story impacts the main character or characters, and understanding this impact is the whole point of telling story. So it is more of character driven, yet it is imaginative. No, doesn't exist. Only exists the imagination or a dream of the author. Examples are I Am on a Fan, The Remains of Days, Station 11, Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, and the famous one is the Living Life of Adults. So learn to read books so that your knowledge or comprehension will be able to enhance and develop. The near future, you can use it in our entire lives. Next is mystery. Mystery is a type of fiction in which a detective or other professional solves a crime or a series of crimes. So it's more of detective. Do you know who is Sherlock Holmes? That is one example of a detective fiction or mystery. Okay? Types of this are Agatha Christie, Murder on the Orient Express, Tana French in the Woods, Sherlock Holmes. So as you can see, it is more on detective, mystery, and only to find out what is the mystery behind those scenario. So next one is thriller. Thriller is a genre of fiction with numerous, often overlapping subgenres including crime, horror, and detective fiction. So unlike in detective fiction, what we call the mystery only solves crime or investigation. Yeah, more on investigation. So in thriller, we do have here the horror that give us thrill. Okay, for example, it's not just about the scary facts or anything that can make us scared, but it's a thriller wherein we do feel goosebumps our bodies. Okay, so these are the examples. And next is horror. So horror, they can feature supernatural elements such as ghosts, witches, or vampires. Okay, this is very basic and it is self-explanatory. Okay, so these are the examples. More of horror, supernatural elements. Okay, it's like ghosts, just like this, The Exorcist. You know, it's like that. That is what we call the, or as long as scary, realistic, psychological fears. Okay, that can lead also in a huge trauma. Next is historical. The word historical, more on history. Believable details in fictional events and vivid descriptions of historical fiction characters. So, vivid descriptions, meaning that it's more on the past events of, or the description of the past events. And this example is the famous one adapted by David Ozelkins, and the production came from Mitchell's The Gun with the Wind. It's a literary piece. Okay? It's all about history, cavalry, like that. Next one is romance. Refers to fictional narratives that feature the theme of love and chivalry sentimentally. One example of this is the Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare, the most famous romance novel or short story rather in in the entire literature. So another example of this is the love streak by Sudanir. Okay, it's what we call romance, all about intimacy, love, affection, anything that comes with love and romance. This is romance fiction. So let us proceed to the poetry. So what is poetry? It is a literary work in which special intensity is given to the expression of feelings and ideas by the use of distinctive style or rhythm. It is more on rhythmic patterns, styles of with the use of word styles. Okay? So under this we have narrative poetry. It is a form of poetry that tells a story, often using the voices of both narrator and characters. Okay? So, in narrative poetry, it's all about, from the root word narrative. It's all about narrating, no? But it terms a poem that you can express or narrate a story through a poem, the use of stylistic words. Next one is lyrical poetry. A short poem often with song-like qualities that expresses the speaker's emotions and feelings. So when we say lyrical poetry, it's more of a poem, short poem that it can be sung or sing. It has a song-like qualities that express the speaker's emotions and feelings. Okay. So next one is all about drama. Drama is a written work that tells a story through action and speech and is meant to be acted on a stage. A play, movie, or television production with a serious tone or subject. So under drama, we have this what we call comedy. So comedy is a genre of fiction that consists of discourses or works intended to be humorous or amusing by inducing laughter, especially in theater or film. So when we say comedy, it is all about laughter, humorous or hilarious jokes that can be seen in a play, can be fiction or real. Okay, that is what we call comedy. Also a tragedy. Okay, so tragedy is a genre of drama based on human suffering and mainly the terrible or sorrowful events that befall a main character. When we say tragedy, it is a character driven. It is centered by character wherein um there is no happy ending, or happy ending is rarely seen in every story or film in terms of the ending of the story, the character. Okay, it is more on challenges, sorrowful and terrible events. So melodrama, dramatic work in which the plot, typically sensationalized and for strong emotional appeal, takes precedence over detailed characterization. When we say melodrama, it is more on strong emotional appeal, can be acted. Okay? It's a compound noun wherein it combines melody and drama at the same time. Okay? So the other literary genres are journals, diaries, memoir, and speeches. So journals, as you can see, are newspapers or magazines that deals with a particular subject or professional activity. Okay. Also, a daily record of news and events of a personal nature, or just like a what we call the medical journals, just like that. Okay, that's what we call journals. So in diaries, it is a book in which one keeps a daily record of events and experiences. Okay, have you ever wondered when you were in your teenage years that some of the movies, okay, the characters, when they have a crush or something to tell about on the day that happened, they write it on a piece of paper what happened in that day. That is what we call diary. Your personal perspective, your secret, okay? It's diary. So, how about memoir? So, memoir is a historical account or biography written from personal knowledge. It is also an essay on a learned subject. So, when we say memoir, it's all about, in Tagalog, it's talambuhay. It's like that. Is what we call the memoir. And also speeches. I think it's basic for you. It's self-explanatory. More on just like the inauguration speech of the president of the Philippines. Okay, that is what we call the speeches. And I hope you learned something from today. And apart from the modules I gave, please answer all the activities and the evaluation in there. And so that after a week or weeks, we'll be able to proceed to lesson number 2. Okay, and that's all for today. And thank you for listening.